The Chinese Communist Party was not always synonymous with Xi Jinping. The CCP story begins at the end of the First World War. Then it was a party of revolution. On the 4th of May 1919, students held a mass demonstration in Beijing. The protests snowballed into a movement that fueled Chinese nationalism. A teacher named Mao Zedong started thinking of ways to navigate China out of its social and economic misery. On the 23rd of July, 1921, he secretly formed the Chinese Communist Party, along with some others. Over the years, this revolutionary party became a party to cement his rule. And today it is a party of repression. Here's the story of the CCP.
In 1931, Mao Zedong declares the Chinese Soviet Republic. The Republic of China sets out to destroy it. In October 1934, the Communist Party begins a 6,000-mile march. The men and women cross 14 mountain ranges and 24 rivers to finally reach the province of Shanxi. The heroism of the Long March inspires many to join the CCP. It also establishes Mao Zedong as the party's undisputed leader. During the Second World War, the communists find grassroots support. After the war, the Chinese Communist Party defeats the nationalist government. On the 1st of October 1949, Mao Zedong proclaims the People's Republic of China. Once in power, the CCP speeds up China's industrial revolution. How? Through labor-intensive methods. It emphasizes on manpower rather than machines. Cultural purity over expertise. Programs are implemented in haste. The result is disastrous. Nearly 20 million people die of starvation between 1959 and 1962. Then comes the Cultural Revolution. In 1966, Mao wants to get rid of his enemies, reassert his authority, destroy the feudal culture, and in August 1966, Mao orders the closure of schools. The youth are called upon to take some party leaders to task. Why? For their bourgeois values. Students are told to get rid of 4 olds: old customs, old culture, old habits, and old ideas. In the months that follow, students form a paramilitary group, the Red Guards. They harass and attack China's elderly and intellectuals. Historians believe that at least 2 million people lost their lives. Mao Zedong dies in 1976. The Gang of 4 is arrested. It's the end of an era in the Chinese Communist Party. Deng Xiaoping takes charge. It's a turning point for China. He opens up the country, gives the markets a free rein. But repression still remains a tool of power. In 1989, students are killed at the Tiananmen Square. Thousands gather to demand democracy, free speech, and a free press. The Communist Party sends tanks to fight them. The massacre of innocent students is met with international criticism and isolation. The CCP turns the focus on economic growth, starts building the China that we know today. 30 years later, history repeats itself in Hong Kong. Pro-democracy protests break out in the city in 2019. The Chinese Communist Party imposes the Hong Kong security law. It criminalizes secession, terrorism, and collusion with foreign forces. The CCP is one of the few communist parties to have withstood the democratic wave. That's because it mixes communism with authoritarianism. Under Xi Jinping, the CCP has dropped the term limits for leaders. Xi himself has emerged as China's most powerful leader since Mao. Today, the Chinese Communist Party has 95.15 million members in China. Outside it, there are millions who despise it. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.